Hi, I'm Calvin, and today I'm sharing with you my recent trip to the beautiful Prague in Czechia. Czechia is country number 25 for me, and Prague is definitely up there with my favourite cities I've visited. The architecture is stunning, it's affordable, and it's a really fun city. Ready. Along with me on my trip were my friends Amir, Thomas and Miles, and we were lucky enough to celebrate Amir's 24th birthday while we were in Prague. Thomas and I live in Edinburgh, so we caught a direct flight with Jet2 to Prague, where we met Miles and Amir, who fly directly from other parts of the UK. It was super easy to use public transport getting to the city centre from the airport, although it did involve catching a bus and then the underground. We were quickly in the city centre, and architecture really just blows you away as soon as you see the city. Even the back streets just look incredible. We also noticed quickly how clean the streets were.
Even cobbled streets.
We then arrived at our Airbnb, which was very pleasant despite being a basement apartment. But of course, we just wanted to get out and see the city, and thankfully Charles Bridge was less than a 5-minute walk from our Airbnb. The bridge crosses the Vltava River and is really stunning. There was also a bit of foreshadowing, as you can see the nightclub, Karlovy Lazny, which is the famous 5-storey nightclub. Just after the bridge is quite a busy area, and we walked past the famous Pork's restaurant. However, we decided not to go in due to it being super busy. We ended up at this restaurant a little up the street with some interesting artwork, and this is where we had our first Czech beer of the trip. We then continued up the hill to Prague Castle. Prague Castle is the largest ancient castle in the world and dates back to 870 AD. On our way back down, we passed the infamous Starbucks that is inside the castle. This felt quite dystopian. There's also a great view of the city from the castle. In the distance we spotted the Zivskov Tower. However, we didn't realise this until we looked it up later. Unfortunately, by this time it was starting to get dark, and so we made a brief visit to both the Kafka Museum and the Lenin Wall. I'm currently reading The Trial by Kafka, so it was really cool to go there. Since it was starting to get dark, we decided to head to the pub. This was the first of a few that night, however this is where I will leave day one at. I woke up sharp the next morning and went on a little wander while the boys got ready. I headed to Old Town Square, where I caught my first glimpses of the colossal Church of Our Lady Before Tyne. After my walk, the boys were ready for Amir's birthday breakfast. We went to Pausiteria Cafe, which was 10 out of 10. I had the shakshuka, which was unreal. We then had a look into this glass shop, which was good for souvenirs. After, we joined the crowds to have a look at the astronomical clock before having a laugh in the Sex Machine Museum. By this point, we were getting thirsty, so we grabbed a pint of Bud Bar from a side street bar. We continued exploring into the afternoon and got to witness the rotating Kafka head. What we didn't realise was that it only rotates once per hour for 15 minutes. Luckily, we caught the end of a rotation. After stopping in a shisha lounge, we went back to the Airbnb to get ready to go to dinner at Kuchin. Another excellent meal, although not the most budget-friendly. We then continued celebrating Amir's birthday by heading to Karlovy Lazny for a boogie. After a fun night out, we all had a slow morning, meaning after breakfast, it was already time for our first beers of the day. We had these at Ufleku, which was a traditional beer hall. We then went to the railway restaurant that serves food via model trains. I really liked the concept, although it was a tad pricey and felt a bit touristy. These were the bars we went to that night when it started snowing, meaning Thomas could bring an extra friend with us to the club. After a snowy night, we checked out Dancing House and grabbed breakfast at this unusual cafe. We took some photos of the upside-down statue of King Wenceslas riding a dead horse before checking out the National Museum. And this was Amir's thoughts on our final day.
So on our last day today, we're doing a lot of walking, a lot of pondering, a lot of reminiscing.
But as you can see, this was a really fun museum to learn some more about Czechia. This brought us to the end of our trip, and what trip it was. Prague is such a great city. I'd highly recommend it for a short city break, as it has so much to offer. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for future travels.